welcome once again to Let's Talk Marriage. This is Pastor Larry coming to you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. All right. We're going to get right on into our program. Hope everyone is doing well. If you woke up this morning, guess what? You are doing well. And if you've lived this past year and made it to New Year's, you are doing well. Hope everyone had a good Christmas. Last Wednesday, I believe, was Christmas. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas, as I did myself, and hope you did as well. Now, we have a new year coming up. We're in New Year already, and this is beginning of 2025, and there's some things that we need to be addressed in all of our lives to make our year, this year, successful and being people of God. First of all, you need to make a commitment this year to start going back to church. I know a lot of you, for some whatever reason, stopped going to church in the last few years, especially after the pandemic. A lot of people stopped going to church. You need to make a commitment for this year to start back to going to church and making your life a little better. And there's some things that you need to also address. We talked about this in Sunday's message, but it's worth going over again. There's 7 things that you need to do in your life to make your life better. First thing is we need to get rid of fake friends, because fake friends don't mean you any good. They just use you. You ever had those people that use you, and the only time they contact you or get in contact with you is when they need something, which is nothing wrong with that. But don't let it be you get in contact with your friends just because you need something. Get in contact with them just because you want to know how they're doing, and how life's been treating them, and find out if they need anything, if you can help them with anything. That's a new thing to do. So get rid of fake friends, the ones that want to use you. And number 2, there's 7 things here. Number 1 was fake friends. Number 2 is fake family. A lot of times we have family members that do the same thing as fake friends. They want to use you, and every time you hear them, or every time they call, because a lot of times people call you for whatever reason a lot, not because they're using you. We're not talking about those people. A lot of people in your family might call you because they can depend on you. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about the ones that like to use you. And every time you turn around, they're trying to use you for something or get over on you. Those are the family members you need to put distance between. Number 3 is a good one: bad habits. We need to, if you have any kind of bad habits that's that'll hinder your health or come against you spiritually, you need to get rid of those bad habits. Make it a point. I know it's not hard sometimes to get rid of a habit, but make it your duty, or make it your mission this year to get rid of your bad habits. Even if you try one day and then you go back, just keep trying. Just keep trying to get rid of those bad habits, because if you keep those bad habits, they're eventually going to bring you down. And a lot of times bad habits are downfall. And a lot of times bad habits are things that hinder us in life. So we need to make sure we get rid of those bad habits, especially in your marriage. If you have bad habits in your marriage, make sure you get rid of those. And talk to your kids and find out if they have, or if you notice that they have bad habits. Talk to them about their bad habits to get rid of those things, because if you don't, it's going to carry on into adulthood. And then if you're an adult and you have habits, it's going to hinder you spiritually, and it'll hinder your health. So we need to make sure that we get rid of those bad habits for 2025. And here is number 4. Anything toxic, get rid of it. Sometimes that means you might have toxic friends. You might want to get rid of them because they certainly don't mean you any good. And toxic friends can really bring you down, and Some of them are even run you to the poorhouse. And stop giving away everything. Sometimes the Lord bless you with something, and you just turn around and give it away. It's all right to. It is better to give than to receive, but you don't give away everything, or you don't give out of your need. You give out of what you have as extra. You don't want to, set yourself back. You ask the Lord to bless you with something, and you take it and give it away. And usually, toxic people are the ones that are right there as soon as you get a blessing. Because when you get blessed, that doesn't mean that everyone around you is supposed to be blessed. The ones that are around you that are supposed to be blessed, ask the Lord to let you know and to tell you, and He will let you know which ones that are supposed to be blessed when you get blessed, because everybody is not at the same place. So you have to make sure that we allow not to have those, to get rid of those toxic people and not let them drag us down, because they will drag you down. Number 5, get rid of doubts for 2000. Uh, uh, 2025. Get rid of all of your doubts, because when you doubt God, that's really a sin, because you're doubting His uh, omnipotent presence. You're doubting Him, how He answers your prayers. Just because your prayers weren't answered the way you think they were answered, or the way you thought they should have been answered, does not mean that God is not answering your prayers. And your delay is not His denial. So we need to learn how to stop doubting. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes we have to practice. All these things that I'm mentioning are things that we have to practice. Getting rid of bad habits is something you have to practice on. Getting rid of toxic people in your life, you have to work at. Those are things you have to work at. Get rid of those doubts that you have, because the doubts are hindrance, and is that showing a lack of faith? Because when you have faith, you don't have doubt. So we need to get rid of those doubts, especially in our marriage, and we're working toward goals. Set some new goals in your for this year, and try to work toward them. They're not going to come easy. It's not going to be easy. So those are things we have to work forward to. Number 6 is excuses. Stop making excuses, because sometimes you make a lot of excuses in our lives about things that we do have control. There's some things we don't have control over, but there's a lot of things that we do have control over. Stop making excuses for everything. I remember I had a teacher years ago that told us that excuse was nothing but a dressed up lie. Which, I didn't understand it at the time when she told us. But it makes a lot of sense, because a lot of times you make excuses for things that uh, that you should be doing or should have. Or for instance, if you know you should be in church and someone call you and mention something about church, you'll make up an excuse and just make up anything just to get them off the phone. Oh, I'll be there. You don't show up. Make sure we get rid of excuses and stop trying to make excuses. Because excuses is another thing that'll hinder you in life. If you have a lot of excuses, you won't go far in life. You let those things hold you back. So we have to make sure that we're getting rid of excuses. Number 7 is grudges. Sometimes we have grudges against people, against family members, about things that we've even forgotten about. You mad at somebody about something that happened 30, 40 years ago. Let that stuff go. And a lot of times we have children that are mad at their parents for stuff that happened 30 years ago, or because they didn't think they were raised right. Let me tell you something. Parents are not perfect. The word parent, when you look up the word perfect, you don't see parent under there. Nowhere under there. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. Parents learn as they go along, and they learn from their mistakes. That's what a good parent is. And a good parent will tell you in a minute that they're not perfect. And if you're looking for a perfect parent, you're not going to find one. So stop holding grudges against your parents. Life is too short to be holding grudges against people. Somebody owe you $5 from 10 years ago, you still mad at them. Write it off. That's what companies do. If you owe for so long, so a lot of times they'll write it off. So write off a lot of stuff. Those grudges that you were holding against people, write that stuff off so you can move forward and move to the next level. Because you can't move forward and you can't advance in life if you're sitting there holding grudges against people. I know there's some people who have grudges against other races. Just because people don't look like you got a grudge against them. You don't even know them. Sometimes people can have a grudge against you, don't even know you. So you have to make sure that you're not holding grudges, and especially in your within your marriage. Stop holding grudges in your marriage, because sometimes you could be holding grudges in your marriage because something your husband did years ago or something he did yesterday. You still mad at him, and he don't even have a clue about what you're mad at. Or sometimes the husband mad at the wife for something she did or said, and don't have a clue what he's mad about. You know what you did. We good at saying that. You know what you did. And sometimes people really don't know what they did or weren't even aware that they offended you or something. And stop holding grudges against people in the churches. That's why a lot of people don't go to church. They're holding grudges against someone, or somebody said something to them, and it might have been the truth, and they still holding a grudge against them. Just write it off. And stop holding grudges against people. Because when you hold grudges, it just really hinders you. And these people are going on about their life and enjoying life. And especially if you're holding grudges against somebody in church, you see that person shouting all over the church, and they don't know nothing about they offended you and nothing. They just there to praise the Lord, and that's what they're doing. They're getting something out of the service, and you're not, because you're sitting there mad at them. So we have to make sure that we're not holding grudges against each other and against people in our lives, because when we do this, it really hinders us. And these are the things that we need to work on for 2025 to have a successful year spiritually, physically, and financial. Let me go over these 7 things again. The first one is fake friends. Talked about that. Fake family. We talked about that. Bad habits. We were talking about bad habits. Those are the really big one. Anything that's toxic in your life, you need to get rid of it. If it's not edifying the body of Christ, you need to get rid of it. Get rid of doubts, because we're limiting God when we doubt God. We're limiting Him. We're telling Him He's not all awesome like we say He is. Stop making excuses for everything. And go to church. Stop making excuses why you can't go, or I'm not where I should be. That's all the reason why you should be going, because you're not where you're supposed. That's the place you go. That's just like saying that, oh, I can't go to the hospital now because I'm sick. What sense does that make? That's why you go to the hospital. You go when you're sick. So stop making excuses about why you can't be at church because you feel like you're unworthy. That's the time you go. When you're sick, is the time you go for healing. Stop holding grudges, because you holding grudges against people. People have moved on and went to the next level, and you still mad at them about something that happened for 50 years or 20 years ago. Siblings are holding grudges against each other. You have family members that don't even speak to each other, cousins and things like that, because they're holding grudges about a little toy that you broke when you were. They broke your GI Joe when you were a kid, and you still mad about that. So we have to learn how to move past these things. If we move past these 7 things, we will have a successful year. And make sure that we make a commitment this year to say that I'm going to. You might not be there every Sunday, but make a commitment. Say, I'm going to be at church whenever I can. I'm going to make a effort to be there whenever I can. This is Pastor Larry. I'm going to be signing off, and we wish you a wonderful, wonderful, happy, prosperous, joyous new year. And again, I want to take the opportunity to invite you out to our services at New Zion Christian Center. We're located at 15014 Desplain Street in Plainfield, Illinois. Our services begin on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Sunday school. Please meet us there, and you will have a good time. We are not sent to judge you. We are there to love on you and to help you and show you how Christ loves you also. This is Pastor Larry signing off. And again, Happy New Year.